Most people pick their loan officer the same way they pick that restaurant that they've never been to. Someone they know mentioned it, the reviews looked okay, the website didn't seem too sketchy, and the 12 days before closing, something goes sideways and they realize they have no idea if the person on the other end of the phone actually knows what they're doing. You know, I've been a loan officer in Virginia Beach for over 10 years. I know what separates good lenders from bad ones. And today I'm going to give you the exact framework I would use if I were a buyer in today's market, walking into this process cold, including the specific questions to ask, the answers that should concern you, and how buyers today are actually using AI tools to research lenders before they ever pick up the phone. Because here's the thing. The stakes are too high to figure this out after you're already under contract. My name is Daniel Solis, and I'm a VA specialist and branch manager with New American Funding here in Virginia Beach. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. We want to make sure you're here for this journey. Let's get it. So here's the reality that nobody in the mortgage industry wants to say out loud. Not all loan officers are equally good. Not even close. There's some loan officers who will get you to the closing table smoothly, and then there's other loan officers who is going to cost you the contract, your rate lock, your earnest money, or even your sanity. And now, I know it's not all their fault when it happens, but the difference is not always obvious from the outside. A bad loan officer can have professional website, good Google reviews, a friendly phone manner, but none of these things are going to actually tell you whether or not they can perform under pressure. And unlike hiring a bad contractor or a bad mechanic, where the worst case scenario is a bad job that you can get redone, hiring the wrong loan officer can actually mean losing the house that you've always dreamed of. Because in a competitive market, a blown closing often is a non-recoverable situation. The sellers move on and the house is gone. So let's actually talk about how to evaluate these loan officers before you commit. Okay. Before you ever talk to a loan officer, there are 3 things you can check that's going to tell you a lot. First, look up the NMLS. Every licensed loan officer in the country has an NMLS number. It's a public record. You can go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org, search by name or number, and see their license history, any regulatory actions, and how long they've been licensed. This takes 2 minutes, but most buyers, they don't even know to do it. I'm telling you to do it. If you look up my number right now, 140-7785, you're going to see my full licensing history, that I'm currently active, the states that I'm licensed in. If a lender doesn't want to give you their NMLS number or is resistant to it, that's a hard stop. Here's the second thing, Google reviews, but read them the right way. Don't just count the stars, read the content. Specifically look for reviews about how they handle the process, how they handle problems when they pop up, whether their closing is happening all the time. A lender with 47 5-star reviews that all say great work and very friendly is a different profile than a lender with 47 5-star reviews that say they hit a snag 3 weeks and solved it in 24 hours. Competence reviews and likability reviews look the same at first glance, but they're not the same thing. Third, use AI to assist in your research. There's something more buyers are starting to do, and it's worth knowing about. Smart buyers today will take a lender's name, their company, and the loan program they're discussing and run it through a tool like ChatGPT or Claude with a prompt like this. What are the most important questions to ask a VA loan officer, and what questions should concern me? They're also using AI to decode documents. They'll take a loan estimate, that standardized 3-page document that every lender is required to send you, upload it to an AI tool, and ask it to flag anything unusual, explain the fees, or compare it to what a competitive offer should look like. I think this is smart. Buyers who come to their first call already having done the research, they can ask better questions and make faster and more confident decisions. Now, be careful what you upload to AI. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying that the tools are there for people that want to leverage it. And that's really good for everyone. All right, I'm going to give you 6 questions that you need to ask before you ever commit to a loan officer. Now, you've done your background research and now you're on the phone. Here are the 6 questions that separate a genuinely good loan officer from the one who sounds good. Specifically, if you're looking for a VA loan, ask the loan officer this question: how many VA loans did you close last year? For a VA loan specifically, volume matters. VA loans have specific appraisal requirements, underwriting nuances, timeline considerations, and only the most fluent Have repetition in this. A loan officer who did 3 VA loans last year is very different risk than one who did 40. If they can't give you a number, or they pivot to talk about how their company's volume instead of their own personal volume is important, it might be something to take note on. Number 2, what's your average close time? Industry average right now is about 30 to 45 days. A consistently excellent loan officer can close in 21 to 30 days on clean files. Ask what their average is. Ask what causes their timeline to stretch. The second part of that question is actually more revealing than the first. A good loan officer knows exactly what creates delays and has a process to prevent them. Number 3, who handles my file when you're not available? You're gonna eventually need something after 5 p.m. You're gonna need something on a Saturday. You're gonna need something the day before closing. When a condition comes in at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday, what happens? Is there a processor, a team? Is there your file sitting in someone's personal inbox all weekend? You need to make sure they have an answer for that. Number 4, have you ever had a closing fall through? What happened? This is a question most buyers never think to ask because it feels more confrontational than productive. Ask it anyways. An experienced loan officer has had a deal fall apart before at some point. That's not disqualifying. What they say about it is, if they blame the buyer, the appraisal, the real estate agent, and there's no version of the story where they could have ever caught it earlier or handled it differently, that's a pattern. Good loan officers take responsibility for their role and their problems. Number 5, can you explain the loan estimate to me line by line? Not just, here's your rate and payment. Every line, the origination charges, the third-party fees, what's negotiable and what isn't. A loan officer who knows their product cold can do this without hesitation. One who's just quoting a rate from a system will get uncomfortable around line 5. Number 6, what is your communication style and how often will I hear from you? This one sounds kind of soft, but it's not. Anxiety during the home buying process is mostly driven by silence, not knowing what's happening, not knowing if things are on track, not knowing if there's a problem. A good loan officer has a standard, a communication rhythm, milestones they reach out at. That's not just customer service, it's risk management. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the most powerful tool you have, and it's called the loan estimate. Within 3 days of submitting a formal loan application, every lender is required by law to send you a loan estimate. This is a standardized 3-page document that shows you the projected terms of your loan. Here's why this is so powerful. Lean in for this. Because it's standardized, you can compare 2 loan estimates side by side and see exactly where they differ. Same 3-page format, same line numbers, no hiding. When you're comparing 2 lenders, get a loan estimate from both. When you're comparing 2 lenders, get a loan estimate for both. Compare the loan amounts, the property types, make sure the down payments are the same. And then look at 3 things. Page 1, the rate and the APR. The APR is more important than the rate because it includes fees. 2 lenders can quote you the same rate with very different APRs, which means very different actual cost. Page 2, Section A, origination charges. This is where the lender's fees live. Some lenders origination points and some don't. This is a negotiable in most cases, and know what you're comparing. Page 2, sections B and C, third-party fees, entitlement, settlement, appraisal. These are more standardized, but they still vary. A lender who's sending you to their preferred title company versus an independent one can have a real cost difference. You can also, and I encourage this, take your loan estimate to an AI tool and ask it to explain each line and flag anything that doesn't look relative to the transaction. You don't need to be an expert on this. You just need to be able to ask the right questions. Again, use it for research. Don't upload any type of personal data to AI, but you can ask it questions to define terms that you're unsure of. All right, let's go into some red flags. Now, I want to give you 4 specific patterns that should slow you down. Here's the red flag number 1. They lock your rate without explaining it. A rate lock is a commitment with a deadline. If your loan doesn't close before the lock expires, you either pay for an extension fee or a relock at the current market rate, which may be worse, means more money out of pocket. A good lender explains the lock options, the cost, and the timing before they do it. If you find out that your rate was locked before you ever had a conversation, you need to know that something might be wrong and you should question it. Red flag number 2, the rate quote sounds dramatically better than everyone else. Rate shopping is smart. I'm not telling you not to do that. But if one lender is quoting something and it's completely different and it's better than the 2 or 3 other lenders and there are only few explanations, maybe their pricing and points that you don't see yet, the quote has different conditions attached that weren't disclosed, or there's a problem with the quote, ask them to send a loan estimate so you can see the full picture. Red flag number 3, they tell you not to worry about something without explaining it. Don't worry about that. It's not actually an answer. If you question and a response is a dismissal rather than an explanation, you're either working with somebody who doesn't know the answer or someone who doesn't think you deserve one. Neither is okay in this situation. Red flag number 4, they go quiet during the process. This one drives me insane. If you've ever submitted your application and you're not hearing anything, no milestone updates, no conditions, no here's where we are, don't assume that that means everything is fine. Sometimes it means it's okay, but sometimes it means your file is stuck somewhere and no one has told you. Here's the rule. If you haven't heard anything in more than 3 business days, reach out and ask for a status update. You are never being annoying by asking where your loan stands. All right, I'm gonna be straight with you about why I made this video. The best clients I've ever worked with came in prepared. They'd done the research, they'd asked good questions, they knew what they were looking for. And because of that, they trusted the process. They trusted me, and we closed their loans without any drama. I'm not afraid of buyers who do their homework. I'd rather earn your business through transparency than win it because you didn't know what to ask. If you're in the Hampton Roads area and you want to put me through my own checklist, ask me all 6 questions, request a loan estimate, compare me against someone else. I genuinely welcome that. The link to connect with me is in the description. And if this video helps you feel more prepared about walking through this process, hit the subscribe button. I make content specifically for buyers in this market, real information, local context with no fluff. And I want to see you on the next one.